Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Join me on Scaling Your Business, where I interview leaders who have actually scaled and successfully sold their businesses so you can learn what to do and what not to do. Subscribe and join us as we go through this amazing journey on scaling your business. Hey, I'm back here with Taunya Woods Richardson, the founder and CEO of Nail the Numbers. And last episode, we heard the journey of the rise and fall of Powerhouse and the emotions that went with that and the learnings around knowing your numbers in business. And that kind of led to this eventual epiphany of Nail the Numbers. And so tell me what it is that Nail the Numbers does for entrepreneurs.
So we're a financial training academy on a mission to strengthen minds and bottom lines, as you mentioned, of 1.7 million business owners across Canada and the States. And really, it's about helping that business owner nail their numbers, quite literally. But it's all based on helping them build solid financial business models that turn their business into one of their most powerful investments.
Yes.
Right? And so I don't know if there was a couple of founders that are like, what's going on, investment? But I'm sure we're going to get into it.
Right. And I think we should get into that because like we talked in the previous episode, it's like unicorns and rainbows and everybody's excited about what they're doing and they're so passionate, they're going to change the world. But the fact of the matter is, if you're not profitable, you can't change the world. You cannot change the world if you do not have those profits coming in because you will not last.
Yeah, absolutely. You nailed it. You nailed it, Kate. I hope that landed with everybody. Yeah.
I had listen, guys. Yeah. You cannot do what you are setting out to do if those numbers aren't right. And so what are some mindsets and beliefs false beliefs maybe that you're coming up against with entrepreneurs that they need to get through first before they get in and start digging through the numbers? What is up here that's stopping them?
I'll pull out my soapbox just for a moment because I think, again, one of the stigmas in our society is it gets attached to this label small business, right? So 98% of our business community is made up of what we call small business. And unfortunately, I think that we have bought into that label. And seeing ourselves as small is what keeps us charging a small price, paying ourselves a small wage. On average, it's $21.73 per hour for the Canadian founder out there, which is terrible given what we're putting in. And it also is what keeps us, I believe, in generating a small net profit, right? So that bottom line, all your sales minus all of your expenses equals net profit. And in our work, we see that over 89% of business owners are generating less than a 3% net profit. And where I just want to add in here, because I think sometimes they're like, oh, 3%. Okay, well, that's not that bad. So first of all, we have to remember that you need to remove the founder's salary from that, right? So if you haven't accounted for your salary, you have to take that off. But here's the mind-blowing number with this. Is that a high interest savings account would get you 4 to 6%. 4 to 6% you would make on your money for 10 minutes of time to set up the account, and it's 100% guaranteed.
And you're doing nothing.
And you do nothing. And here we are, we've built an investment that makes us less than 3%. We're working 40, 60, 80, 90 hours a week, and it is 100% exposed, right? So it's just, we need to realize that we've been making a subconscious choice to build an investment that is that, that low, right? Versus this choice of, we could have just put it in a high interest savings account.
Yes. And there's a certain amount of that. And I honestly, I'm going to get real. I honestly have this argument with my husband because he's like, I'm a professional engineer, right? And I could be working, and I'm a professional engineer who has people skills. So I could be working in a significantly decent job, right? And like no stress, and Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, right? Mm-hmm. And he's like, I don't get why you're doing this. I don't get why you're grinding, why you're struggling. You don't have to. And I don't, and like you said, there's years where it's like 0, or negative, or There's been years,
Yes.
Tanya, and I don't know what it is in me. It's like it's driven by something so much deeper than just like, how am I going to make money? And I think it has to be at some point. Like, you got to make money because you're not going to last, but there has to be something driving you deeper than that, because there's going to be hard times. There's things out of your control.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You bring up a really good point, because I think, again, there's a lot of resistance to making money in business. But as we talked about in the first series, like, your business to stay afloat needs to be making money, right?
Yes.
And so you bring up such a good point. It's about the why, right? Like, why and what? Like, how much money do you need to be making? Which is why in the academy, we actually bring every founder back to their personal budget and getting them to see, oh, here's what I need to be making monthly to make sure I can save, spend, share, earn, right? Invest. Here's
Yeah.
what I need to be generating for my retirement needs for that shortfall. So you start to get into alignment with, you know what, I can no longer afford to build a lousy paying job for myself,
Yeah.
right? Like, because you know you've got choices right now. You had that conversation with your husband. And so getting into alignment with what do you need to build. And then the second piece is, I love that conversation too, that you're saying, well, my life is about purpose, and this business is about being purposeful. There's an intent to the work that we're doing. But as you've already pointed out, the only way that intent can actually be, and that impact can be amplified, is through generating that net profit. So it all comes back to a financial plan allows you to achieve both. It allows you to amplify your purpose and your impact, and it allows you to achieve what you need to be bringing in at home, because that's
Yes.
our true anchor. That's our true why.
And I'll share a story. Like, when we first started out, we were doing 2-day, full-day workshops to help companies define and build their culture in a way that actually set a foundation for their business to build off of. And we would do that 2-day workshop full with surveys and reports and everything. Like, we're engineers, we nerded out on this stuff fully. We did it for like less than $2,000.
Wow. Yeah.
And we
Per
didn't
person, right? Yeah.
per
Yeah.
company. Like, we were crazy. We were crazy. And until like, and you know what? We sold less of them at that than we did when we started charging $16,000.
Isn't that interesting? Right?
You want to talk mindset and money, guys, right?
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
our clients went, can't be that good, not that expensive. So even who you're selling to, there's mindset beliefs around money. So you want to talk small business, talk like small charging out, like, you got to
Yes.
believe it. You got to know you're worth it, so that when you walk into that door, they're like, yeah, okay, it's got to be worth it. Because,
Yes. Yes, I love that, Kate. And you know, we do an exercise called the weighted pricing process, and the third piece of that exercise is about understanding the value that you deliver, right? And being rooted in that value. So it's not dismissing competition, it's being able to defend your price because you're defending the value that is so important to your audience. And you know, what you talked about here too, it's important when you're talking about culture and brand, it's about getting into alignment and charging a price that's commensurate with the value that you say that you're going to deliver.
yes.
So if you're saying that you're going to rock their world and turn their socks up and down, and right, like $2,000 is like, am I really going to be right? Like, is that really what I'm getting in return? Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It has to match. And so I think there's a huge mindset shift that entrepreneurs go through with, like, how much do I charge? And, you know, making it, understanding their value in a point where it's like, I know your pain as the client. I know the client's pain so much, and I know what heaven looks like. And I am the answer.
Yes.
I am the answer, and it's worth every dollar. Right. Yeah. And so I think that there is a huge mindset shift around that. And one other thing that I think we bring to the table doesn't even come from our belief in our business. It comes from beliefs that have been handed to us before that. And you talked about that, and it really hit. Right. So can you expand on our childhood beliefs and how it impacts us?
Oh, absolutely. How much time do we have, Kate? How much time?
Right?
In a nutshell, it's kind of full circle, because you talked about this at the beginning with your husband, right? And why am I choosing to build this business that, right? And so Our programming, I guess I'm going to say our patterns or the decisions that we make come from a program that was embedded through what we call developmental programming. So 0 up to, experts have different opinions, 0 up to 7 up to 12, but it's those early formative years. And then we also have what's called inherited programming. So that's the science of epigenetics, where unresolved trauma gets passed down 3 generations. So it's really important that to really start shifting all of this and this neuroplasticity, how we start to change our mental programming, is about first and foremost becoming aware of what we are doing. And just a story on that, I was speaking to my daughter this morning in the car. That's typically where we have our best discussions. And she was talking about some angst with a boyfriend, and then she was talking about some angst with her soccer club. And she turns to me and she says, a lot of my opportunities are rooted in, right, this feeling that I'm not good enough. And she's 16, and I'm like, oh my goodness, you're brilliant for being able to see that. And I said, every single one of us as humans have an opportunity for growth, but so many don't choose to see what that opportunity is and figure out what the root is of it, right? And so for all of us, we come with this programming that, again, developmental and inherited, and we're on autopilot. And we do so many things unconsciously. Oh, let's start a business. Oh, let's not get paid. Oh, let's charge a small price, right? It's about really sitting with that to say, what is at the root of all of this? What are the beliefs that I'm carrying forward that are informing 95% of my decisions, those subconscious decisions that we're not using our prefrontal cortex for?
It's so true. And we were talking about this because I actually created culture cards. We paired up with Mark Groves and created culture cards similar to his Create the Love cards, but for the workplace.
I love it.
Right? One of the cards is like, what are some biases and false beliefs or that you may have that you should challenge maybe in your life? Right? And so they picked the hardest card to start. It was great. And so one of mine is the belief that you have to work hard to make lots of money. But I grew up like that. My parents worked hard, and they always were able to provide. And I grew up in a very, very lovely household, and I had access to the things that I wanted to do, like sports and, clubs that I wanted to join and stuff like that. But I saw my parents working hard. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, but in order for me to have dance lessons, she would do trades. She would go and clean the studio, and she would so she would find ways to monetize so that I could have all the things that I wanted. So I saw how much hard work went into it. And I have this belief that it's hard. And I'm challenging my own belief in that maybe I just need to work smarter, not harder.
Interesting. And maybe, just another perspective too. And first and foremost, just honoring your parents and right. Everybody does the best that they can, but your parents, the love that they had to be able to give you those opportunities, right? And really cherishing that and sitting in that. And but you're right that working hard is one thing that I do believe. It's a belief that many have. We hear it all the time, right? You've got to work hard for money.
Yes.
Potentially work smarter, but even that has a negative connotation to it. It says, well, you're not working smarter. What I might encourage at this point is to do the work that is most uncomfortable, right? Because making change isn't hard, it's just uncomfortable. And if everybody just spent 20 minutes first thing in the morning doing the thing that they've been procrastinating on, their lives would change probably in that day, definitely by the end of the week. Right? It's a brand new trajectory. So that work hard, it is a pet peeve of mine. It's just, if we just did the uncomfortable work uncomfortably, because
the stuff I'm avoiding, the stuff I'm like, it's not the priority. This is.
We all have them, right?
Challenge accepted. So for those of you who are listening, find the things that are uncomfortable, the things you're avoiding that would have impact. Find those things, try those. Try to try to unpack some of that and be uncomfortable. And I love change, but there are things I'm avoiding. So Taunya, thank you for pushing me.
We all do, Kate. We all have those things. So yeah,
Those things, those
with
things
love.
that I actually started this morning, just so you know, 4 a.m. Because like we're going through a hard time right now. Like this is hitting close to home. We're going through a hard time right now with the economy is what's happening and all the government stuff that's pausing business. It's hard right now. And so I was like looking forward to and dreading this conversation all at the same time because it's like it's happening, right? And so I got up this morning, I stretched, which is uncomfortable for me because I've been lifting weights for a while, but I haven't been stretching. And so my body's like super tight. It's uncomfortable. I got uncomfortable. I then went in the hot tub and did cold plunge twice. Very uncomfortable for my body. And then I've been avoiding cleaning my office and like, she clean, girl.
Look at her. She's
like,
beautiful. She's beautiful. Yeah.
I'm feeling good. I can still smell the Lysol wipes everywhere. Like change is happening. It's happening right now. So I got to keep this up. I'm going to do something even more uncomfortable tomorrow and the next day. So I love that tip. And if people want to get involved with Nail the Numbers, because I know you launch training courses, you work one-on-one with founders, you have all these amazing programs. How do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, nailthenumbers.com. All the information that you need. We have a great challenge coming up as well. And we have over 67 coaches across Canada and the US now too. So we've got lots of capacity to help founders wherever they're at, right? Wherever they're at. As small, consistent, uncomfortable steps forward is what gets us to the finish line.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Taunya. In the next episode, I want to talk about, now we have the numbers, what does it take to scale a business? So we're going to unpack that. I love it. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Get ready to learn from industry leaders who have scaled and sold their businesses successfully. Learn what to do and what not to do when scaling your business. Don't make unnecessary mistakes when you're scaling your business. Make sure you subscribe to Scale Your Business, and we'll see you next time.